this is Greg from YouTube, from my channel All's Number. Okay, so let's get right to it. Okay, so I basically was going to comment on someone's video, another channel called In Truth by Grace, in which he presents an idea. They have an issue where they can't quite, they don't know why there's a circular blip of rain around what's called a next Rad Tower. And so it's an anomaly that appears around the tower, and no one really they don't really know why. So anyway, so what it is it's the tower itself. This is what they use to manipulate some of the weather with. They use signals flowing through the air to basically create high pressure mass artificially. So what they're doing is, this is what I think they're doing, is why there's a circular blip of rain around this tower that they can't quite describe, is because when they send out the signal from the tower, it basically pops nearby particles in high altitude, and what it does is it gives the ability for moisture to gather to get sucked onto the particle, basically. Okay, so basically, like, moisture from the surrounding air will suck up, will attach to the particle, will condense at high altitude, because at high altitude it's colder than at lower altitude, so the water will condense at higher altitude than it does at lower altitude. So basically, that's what will happen, and that's why you see a circular blip of rain, is that it makes the air surrounding it expand. It makes not the air, but it makes whatever particles are in the air, dust or anything in the air, expand. So when that happens, it gives something for the moisture nearby to grab onto. And the reason why I think this is the case is because you could technically cloud seed with dust. It's just not particularly a good way to do it. You're better off using dry ice. So they probably use, that's what probably the issue is, of why there's this anomaly around the tower. You see a little circular blip pop up on the Doppler radar, and Doppler is also a way in which they might use to basically, move to create storm systems as well, because the signal's flowing through the air as well. So anyway, that's why you have a circular blip of rain around these towers that they can't describe, because that's what's pretty much happening, is that, that's at least what I think is happening, as far as, like, I'm doing guesswork here and trying to figure out why this is occurring. So that's what I think is happening and why that's the case. And then I'd like to add also there we go, phone's getting all whacked up. All right, I'd also like to add there's a book I was picking apart a while ago. It's called 777 Liber All. It's by Lester Crowley. Okay, so I looked at the book a while ago, and I'm trying to come to the conclusion of why he wrote certain things in there. And he says, I got something on my phone. Oh, come on, phone. He says that he exists in a world of shells, basically. Okay, so it's like to exist in a world of shells, meaning to exist in a world of hosts, basically. Lester Crowley, by the way, is the premier Satanist from the 20th century. Very well known, okay? So he says to exist in a world of shells is one of his quotes in the book that I took away from it. Okay? I gotta wait for the car. So, so basically, to exist in a world of shells means, to exist as, people are hosts for demons, possibly. So it means that people could be hosts for demons. The other thing it also means is it has to do with animals. It's like a reference it's like a reference for what's called the Ouroboros, basically. It's like, okay, so to exist in a world of shells means, basically, let me go this way. So to exist in a world of shells means to basically have a person, or not a person, it's a reference for the Ouroboros, because when you're an animal and you change your shell, let's say you're like a snail or a crab or anything like that, or any sort of fish, or not fish, any sort of crustacean that lives in a shell, you would you change your shell occasionally. Okay, so it's a reference for, like, constant change. So you're constantly recreating your image like the Ouroboros does. The Ouroboros is a snake that constantly eats itself. It has that's a reference for basically constantly recreating your image, because it's eating its tail and then recreating itself on the other end. And people who are really high up the satanically like this concept because it's designed to like basically keep things novel and also throw people off to a certain extent. Like for example, they have the agenda getting pushed, which is called Agenda 2030, okay? No, I mean it was called Agenda 21 originally. UN, actually the correct name for it is UN Agenda 21. Now it's Agenda 2030, and they changed the name of it. It's the same thing, but it's a different name. So you see what I mean? It throws people off if it has a different name. They might not be keeping track of it at all, or whatever, anything like that. So anyway, long story short, so basically they are, that's what they do. It's like to exist in a world of shells might mean to constantly change your shell. So I'm trying to figure out, like, why did Lester Crowley write this? It probably has to do with that. You know, you're constantly changing your shell and moving on into a different shell. So it's basically, I think that's what the deal is with why he wrote that there. There's other parts. I actually picked apart the Book of the Law a bit, and I haven't really put that on my channel because it would take a long time to describe. I just have a soft copy of it on my computer, so it would be, anyway, that's where I got that. So anyway, long story short, I think that's what they were talking about, what he was talking about with that quote. And so, like I said, it's a beautiful day in the Valley of Oregon, and I hope you all enjoy your day. All right, take care.